What up and welcome to the Beneath the Dirt podcast. I'm your host, Ron Bone. Thank you for tuning in. Episode 94. We're at the end of fucking July 2020. Flying right by in this crazy fucked up time that we're in. You know what I mean? New music, new news. Thank you for tuning in. Much love. Much appreciated. Everybody. We've been grinding, haven't missed an episode in just over a year. Last week was the first week that we completed a year of not missing an episode. Y'all keep me going. The comments, the likes, the shares, everything. Like I always say, y'all are the MVP. Everybody that subscribes, anything. Much love to you. Haven't missed an episode in just over a year now. No plans of fucking slowing down. And let's get into some new music, some new news. But first, let's talk about the playlist. I got requests for the playlist to be up on YouTube. I listen to you. If you have any suggestions, toss them my way. They will be considered. I figured why not? Shit's up on Apple Music. It's up on Spotify. Might as well throw it up on YouTube. I know I'll have no problem finding songs up on YouTube. YouTube has more shit than Spotify and Apple Music. Sometimes I can find songs on Spotify that I can't on Apple Music. So the playlist will be off just a little bit. But follow it. The playlists are dope. Again, it's songs that appear on albums that have recently celebrated a birthday for the last week. Last week's playlist was jam-packed. Twiztid, Blaze, Cottonmouth Kings. Pantera was on there. Mac from No Limit, that old school No Limit shit. This week is going to be even more packed of dopeness. I might not even be able to put a song from every album that has a birthday this week because I think there's like 20-something songs, but we'll see. Only because it might not fit on the graphic that I got, but we'll see. Maybe I'll just say fuck it and make the whole playlist with every song, even if it's not on the graphic. But follow it on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Should be able to find it just by typing it Beneath the Dirt. Much love. And I appreciate the suggestions. I think the YouTube one was a dope one. Why the fuck not, right? And let's get into some news. Not really big news right here, but 25 years of Nodis album, Do You Believe in God? The classic horrorcore wicked shit album. Acid rap, call it what you want it. Isham, Nodis, Mastermind. 25 years. This past Saturday, this album celebrated a birthday. The homies over there at Speaky Clout, Mike, Ross, and Steven all did a show celebrating this album. I appear on that episode. Go peep that shit if you ain't checked it out yet. They break the album down really well. I join in, talk about my favorite songs on this album. I ain't mad at anybody that says this is the best wicked shit horrorcore album ever. In my personal opinion, that would have to go to Closed Casket, Isham album. But this ain't far behind it, without a doubt. Do You Believe in God? One of the most dark, fucked up albums ever released. Isham's production on here was amazing. It's crazy, 25 years. You know, I wasn't down 25 years ago. I was down a little more than 20 years ago. I want to say like 98, maybe 99 at the latest. I found Isham and Nodis, but it's crazy. 95, this shit goes hard. You know, Bone Thugs, East 1999 Eternal, celebrated a birthday the same day. Another classic album. But Nodis, Isham, y'all know how I feel. Isham, the best to ever do it in the horrorcore wicked shit. Musically, you know, he is the innovator of this shit. So shout out to Isham, Mastermind. Rest in peace to TNT as well. Nodis, Do You Believe in God? 25 years. Dope as hell. Let's get into some new music. We got new music from Benny the Butcher, Rick Hyde, and Heem. It's Over, the Black Soprano Family. The Gangsta Grills mixtape drops this Friday. This song is just okay. I don't know. I really like the first song that they put out together. That song was dope. This song is just okay. It's not really that grimy production that Griselda is usually known to do. You know, this ain't Griselda, it's BSF, this is Benny's label, but this don't sound like no Derringer shit, no Alchemist, no Muggs. I don't know who did the beat. Oh, wait. Produced by Don Cannon. Looking at the fucking graphic on the computer screen. Produced by Don Cannon. It's an okay track. I'd like to hear how it goes in, you know, mixed in with the album. I want that Benny album. Been waiting for a Benny project. It's been over a year since Plugs I Met dropped. Keep talking about it. But I got to keep talking about these dudes, putting their names out there. You know, Benny the Butcher, you know, one of my favorite rappers out right now. I say it over and over again. I'm a broken record. Kill me for it. I don't give a fuck. Benny's dope. This track's okay. But Gangsta Grillz, their mixtape, Big BSF, Black Soprano Family drops this Friday. And it's strange music. Picking back up where the corona fucking derailed them a few months ago. Jerry Robinson, their newest artist to Strange Music. Album drops August 21st. Pre-orders are up now on Strange Music's website, web store, whatever. I never listened to anything this dude's done other than the features that he had on Tech Nine's Enter Fear, and that wasn't bad, his features on there. I don't know if I'll check out the album or not, but artwork looks pretty cool. I don't know. Nothing I'm going to be diving out, you know, looking for if anything else is dropping that day. If nothing else drops that day by any chance, maybe I'll peep it. Maybe not. But former Strange Music signee, Murs. Murs put out a brand new EP this past Friday, produced by Recognize of Mayday, who signed to Strange Music. And this is exclusively through Patreon. I didn't even know Murs had a Patreon, but he does. And this EP is exclusively through Patreon, through to all the S tier members. I don't know what that means, but you get the MP3 download, digital booklet, acapella, and lyrics. I don't know the track list on here. It's kind of wild. This dude put out an EP strictly through Patreon. The only other person that I could think of off the top of my head that's done that had a Patreon, was the Gift of Gab of Black Alicious. A few years back, he was raising money for, I believe he had kidney failure, and he put out an EP exclusively through Patreon or the GoFundMe or whatever it was. But that's the only other time I ever heard this. I saw somebody ask Murs on Twitter when this would be available on Apple Music and Spotify. He said not for at least a year. So he must have made a guarantee to the Patreon members that this would, in fact, be exclusive to the Patreon for at least a year. I'd like to see if this gets uploaded to YouTube. I'm going to pull that shit up right now, pull up YouTube right now, and see if it's already up on YouTube or not. Because how he's going to prevent that from happening, I'm not quite sure. To guarantee the Patreon members who subscribe, pay a monthly fee to be a part of that. And I looked it up right now. I'm not seeing anything. The only thing I'm seeing from Murs that has to do with Murs in Miami, the new EP that he dropped, is the new single that I'm going to assume is from the EP. This is featuring Recognize, who also produced the EP, You and Me versus Everybody. So this is his new single that's out right now. It is up on YouTube. I don't know if it's up on Apple Music, Spotify, anything like that. But the EP won't be up there for at least a year. Murs is that dude. Although I'm not too familiar with his solo stuff, I really like the shit that he did with Slug from Atmosphere, the group called Felt. That shit was really dope. If you're a fan of Murs and you haven't heard of Atmosphere, or if you've heard of both and you haven't heard of their group Felt, peep that shit. They got 3 volumes of it out right now. I don't know if they plan on ever to reunite and do another Felt project, but they should because those projects are really dope. So yeah, Murr's new EP strictly through Patreon. That's fucking wild. And kind of ballsy. He must have a decent Patreon following, a monthly following in order to pull something like that off. So I want to see if anybody else is going to do some shit like that. I know Twiztid has like some kind of exclusive Twiztid YouTube group or following or something where they get exclusive videos first before they release it to the general public on YouTube. But, we'll see. Time will tell. Let's get into some more new music, though. Not released yet, but this is big news to me. Should be big news to you. Ill Bill announced a new single dropping this Friday featuring Lord Goat, formerly known as Gore-Tex, and Sabak Red of Non Phixion. This is a brand new Non Phixion song. I don't think we've got a Non Phixion song in at least 15 years. I think the last time all three members were on a track together was when they all did those solo albums in 2004, Sabacalypse, What's Wrong with Bill, The Art of Dying, on Psychological Records. I think that was the last time they collaborated together. I know Bill and Gore-Tex have been working with each other heavy. After Gore-Tex was kicked out of Non Phixion, Bill and Sabak were doing shit that was leading up to the La Coca Nostra thing. But this new track right here, Watch the City Burn, we got images, or the image right here is from a protest, possibly in Minnesota. Not sure. But I'm hyped for this. Non Phixion, this is a long time coming. They toured like 5-6 years ago. I went to that show. Very dope. Very glad I got to see Non Phixion live. Even more excited that we're going to be getting new music. Supposedly this is off Ill Bill's new album that he got dropping. Hyped for that. Ill Bill staying busy. That Gorilla Twins he dropped earlier this year with Nems is fucking fire. One of my favorite projects this year. So go peep that if you ain't peeped it yet. And let's get into some horrorcore shit. Death Plus, Scum. Death Plus, he's done shit with Ouija Mac, those R.E.J. projects. I think he has another one, Ouija Mac, called One. Well, Death Plus did a new track with Scum. I know Scum has Death Plus on his new album as well. This song is called Attack. I peeped it. It's just okay. I don't like it as much as the stuff that he did with Ouija. I never listened to any other Death Plus stuff. The mix on here, really what kind of kills the track for me. The mix is kind of ass on here. The beat's okay. But the mix, like if you got a bad mix, it could just ruin it. It could ruin a good song if it is a good song. You know what I mean? The beat could be dope, but the mix is so ass. I'm not a fan of the track. But if you like Death Plus and Scum, go peep it. Maybe your ears will be more accepting to it than mine were. Keeping it with LSP, Damian Quinn dropped his new album, I Love Kenosha, But Fuck This City. Dropped this past Friday. I'm hearing good things about it from people. I haven't checked it out. Not a fan of Damian Quinn's solo shit. Love Dark Half, but the solo stuff is eh. I heard this is some like really experimental kind of stuff. Kind of a departure from the typical horrorcore shit or sound that Damian Quinn has given us with his solo stuff and the Dark Half stuff. So that's kind of interesting. I'll probably peep it out at some point, but I'm not really in a huge rush to check it out. But his new album, I Love Kenosha, But Fuck the City, is out now. Speaking of Damian Quinn, he dropped a new YouTube video. It looks like we got a new series coming from Damian Quinn. This image is funny as fuck. Sitting on the toilet, painted up like Violent J. It's the Damian Quinn Experience, Episode 1, channeling my inner horrorcore artist. I gotta admit, I was thoroughly entertained by this first episode of the Damian Quinn Experience. This shit was kind of pretty funny. He's trying to... It's like he's saying he has writer's block or something, and he's trying to figure out how to create that horrorcore shit. He's watching a fucking Killer C video. Killer C is so trash. It's funny. I'm pretty sure he's poking fun at that. He's like, fuck it, might as well paint my face like my hero, horrorcore hero. He's painted up like Violent J. It was pretty funny. I was entertained by it. It's like 10 minutes long. If you ain't checked it out, go check it out. Damian Quinn is a funny dude. I didn't know he had this side to him like this. But with his performance that he had with NetFest, which was really dope. Love how he did that. And then this right here, I'm looking forward to watching more of this Damian Quinn experience. Thoroughly entertained. Looking forward to episode 2. And then we got new music from Head PE, Suburban Noise. Where the, I keep asking, what's Suburban Noise doing? They announced the relaunch and then go silent. They launch a Whitney Payton album and go silent. No news on Cottonmouth Kings. No news of St. Dogs and Cottonmouth Kings. But Head PE dropped a new single, First Blood. Not a fan of Head PE. A lot of shit I'm not a fan of I'm talking about this week. Because there ain't shit fucking going on. News is fucking slow. And here I am sitting here talking about shit I don't even like. I don't like Head PE. Never like Head PE. They had a couple tracks. Not even. Like, what the fuck, dude? I don't even give a fuck about Head PE. Jared did that one song on the Straight Up compilation. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. Lynn Straight, singer of SNOT. SNOT was a band that was coming up. The lead singer died, and then they put out a tribute album featuring like Jonathan Davis, Fred Durst, Corey Taylor, Jared from Head PE, dude from Cold Chamber, Max Cavalera, whole bunch of motherfuckers, Surge from System, over tracks that SNOT was working on. And it was a really dope compilation. And the song that Jared did was like one of the best songs on that album. So go peep that shit. And if you like Head PE, go peep out the new single First Blood. I'm not a fan. And I'm only talking about it because there really ain't shit else to talk about this week. New track from Clockwork, formerly of Gorilla Voltage. It's not Clockwork. It's his new group, Them Chains. They dropped their new single this past Friday. I got to look up the name for it. Called Last Call. Still don't know the name of the other dude in the group. I don't know if that's some kind of like weird tactic that they're rolling out where you only know one dude from the group and you don't know the other. What the fuck is that other guy's name? I don't think anybody knows. I don't think they've ever said. But I peeped the single. And it's a good track. I don't know. It sounds like this song sounds like something I'd want to hear in an album. Somewhere in an album, probably flows, with the rest of a project. I don't know if they're working on an album or not. It's not as good as their first single that they put out. That shit is like one of my favorite songs of the year. Song's called Want None. Just had to look it up because I couldn't remember the name of the track. But I played the fuck out of that song when it first came out. It's not as good as that first single that they put out, in my opinion. That song was amazing. This song's good, but I think because the first one was just so good, it'll be hard to follow up to it. So I'd like to see what they're going to bring for a third single and a possible project. It's been a while since they dropped the first single, so I don't know how active they are in the studio. Clockwork's staying busy. He dropped his video for Tin Man, and that shit was fire. Love all the singles that he's been putting out. Clockwork killing it. And Mr. Gray, formerly of Gorilla Voltage, as well. His project that he put out was really dope. And the video that Clockwork put out was for Half Man, Half Machine, and it wasn't for Tin Man Cometh. But all his singles that he put out, like I said, keep repeating myself, were fire. Anything that Clockwork has done so far. And then go peep that Mr. Gray project. Mr. Gray, Vicious Vendetta. was the album that he dropped. Dope project. And it sucks that Gorilla Voltage ain't together as a group, but it's cool to see them still putting out music, and good music at that. Let's keep it kind of M&E affiliated. Welcome to the Underground, the new sub-label ran by Magic Ninja Entertainment. They announced their artist a couple weeks back, Oh the Horror. They dropped another single this past Friday called Kill 'Em All. And I'm just not feeling these guys. I've peeped a few tracks. Peeped that Boomstick featuring Blaze. Peeped the track with Jamie Madrox. Peeped the one that they dropped a couple weeks ago. Their performance at NetFest. Not a fan. If you like generic horrorcore with decent metal, that's how I described it the first time. Generic horrorcore. Actually called it shitty horrorcore the first time. Over decent metal. And almost kind of like dubstep beats, a little bit. It has those sounds in it. Then you might like it if you know. So go peep that. If you ain't peeped it, Oh the Horror, my eardrums. The horror my eardrums had to go through bumping that shit. But what we do got, and what will probably fucking be dope as hell, just because their chemistry has been so good over the last couple years, and this cover art right here is so dope. You got Madrox, Young Wicked, Monoxide, their faces being hung up on a clothesline. Twiztid, Young Wicked, new track, Hold Up, dropping very soon. They didn't give a release date. They just said keep your fucking eyes peeled to Spotify. It will be dropping soon. I'm hyped for this. Young Wicked and Twiztid's chemistry, like I just said, perfect. Goes so good together. They bounce off each other so well. I'm going to assume Young Wicked produced this project. I'm looking forward to it. I'll listen to it once, just like I did with the Twiztid single that they released last week. I'm done bumping these singles a million times and then having it being on an album, because these songs, and it's hard because these songs are so fucking good, But I expect nothing less than fire than this new track from Twiztid and Young Wicked. Song's called Hold Up. I don't know if they're going to do a release date or whatnot, or if they're just going to release it on us. But be on the fucking, keep your eyeballs peeled for that. And kind of speaking of Twiztid, Big Hoodoo. Big Hoodoo fucking bites Twiztid. Bites him. Big time. Big time. This is some bullshit. And if you can't tell, I really don't give a fuck. And it ain't that big of a deal. But I saw a couple people complain about it. Most people said, who gives a fuck? Hoodoo's music sucks. Some other people said, who gives a fuck? We don't know the concept behind the name of the album. Hoodoo took to Instagram. He posted up a picture of a dude with a fat ass lump on his head. And he said he just got finished listening to my new album, The Red Book. The Red Book is upon us. It's time. P.S. Sorry, not sorry for the wait. Hashtag Houdini. Hashtag pass the Hoodoo blessing. So he's got The Red Book. We all know Twiztid's got The Green Book. Although I don't give a fuck because I am not a fan of Big Hoodoo, why would you name your album The Red Book? You know, or you should at least know or be aware that Twiztid already has an album called Green Book. Yes, different colors, but it's the same shit. Why would you do that? I posed the question up on Instagram. Did Big Hoodoo shoot himself in the foot naming the album this? Some people are saying yes, it's a subliminal towards Twiztid. Some people said no, because we don't know the concept behind the album. I'm 50-50 on it because I think I don't give a fuck because I'm not even a fan of Hoodoo's music. But on the other hand, it's just blatantly obvious. Twiztid already has an album called The Green Book. It would be like if anybody dropped a blue book, a yellow book, an orange book, whatever, a purple book. Purple book would look dope though, not gonna lie. So I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I don't give a shit on one sense because I'm not a fan. On the other hand, it's like, bruh, what are you doing? You know? You can't be doing this. Is Psychopathic back in this project? Is Hoodoo still signed to Psychopathic? No Psychopathic hashtags, no Juggalo hashtags, anything like that. I don't even think Ouija Mac is signed to fucking Psychopathic, but that dude reps the hatchet like nobody's else. Go peep that Pretty Ugly mixtape, because that shit's fire. I've been bumping it. Shit's really good. Other than the features. Like, the features are the worst part of that project. But that shit fire. Peep it. But Hoodoo, you should know better. You should know Twiztid dropped a green book. You can't be dropping a fucking red book. And if it is coming out on Psychopathic, I'm sure fucking ICP's loving it. Rolling around, bathing in the shit that is the red book. Big thumbs down to that shit. But also a big shrug, like, I don't give a fuck at the same time. Because I really don't. I won't listen to it. Dude is one of the most boring rappers, if you ask me. No hate. Seems like a cool dude. I think his persona would have been better off as Doe Doubler. Remember when he was Doe Doubler? And then ICP said, fuck it, here's a shitty voodoo gimmick. Paint your face. Because we don't want you to be original. We want you to do what we tell you. Whole rant aside, thank you for tuning in to episode 94 of the Beneath the Dirt podcast. Can't even talk. Your support is much appreciated. I'm Rome Bone. Thank you for tuning in. Much love, and until next time, I'm out. Peace.